presidential nominee yet, but he has already jumped into the middle of Congress's fight over the border. And that is infuriating some GOP senators who say he's handing a gift to Democrats by blocking a bipartisan border deal. CNN's Lauren Fox is on Capitol Hill. Lauren, what are you hearing about this? This has been a huge issue for Donald Trump. Why doesn't he want it fixed?
Well, this isn't the first time that former President Donald Trump has stood in the way of a bipartisan immigration deal emerging from the United States Senate. If you remember back in 2018 when he was the president, they were on the cusp of a deal and he moved forward with campaigning against it, with lobbying members of Congress to vote against it. So this is nothing new for some of those members. And because of that reality, many of them are deeply frustrated about Donald Trump imposing himself in what they view is the best opportunity that Congress has had in decades to do anything on the border. Specifically, the reality that Democrats have come far in their direction in order to try and get something done ahead of the election. Now, there's no doubt that doing something on the border could give Biden something to point to as a potential victory on the campaign trail. But a lot of Republicans say, we should not be prioritizing Donald Trump's election over the betterment of the country. If this does something to make the country safer and better, then lawmakers should be voting yes for it. And you saw yesterday some of that frustration boiling over. Here's Senator Tom Tillis, who said he will support Donald Trump if he is the nominee, but he just has a different opinion right now.
I think this is when members of the Senate have to show some courage and do something that at the end of the day will be very helpful to President Trump. I hope that we have these tools available so that he can do what he demonstrated in 2017 he couldn't when he was expressing frustration over the lack of the very provisions that we're trying to get into law.
Now, Sarah, bill text is not out. We expect that could be released as early as next week, according to negotiators and Senate leadership. But one thing is very clear. A lot of Republicans believe that some of the discontentment with this emerging deal has nothing to do with the policy. In fact, one Republican senator made this point to me yesterday, saying that if this deal were to come forward and Donald Trump had nothing to do with it, they believed this could have gotten near unanimous Republican support. Sarah?
Wow, this seems like really a case of politics over people. I know you will be watching it, and we will be checking in with you. Lauren Fox, thank you from Capitol Hill for us. Kate?
Let's talk more about this. Joining us now is a former Republican congressman from South Carolina, also the former Republican governor of South Carolina, Mark Sanford. It's good to see you, Congressman and Governor. Let's set the table. You're a conservative. You've been in Republican politics for a long time, and you know Capitol Hill. What do you see in what is happening in the Senate right now, as Lauren Fox was just laying it out?
Frustration to the point that was just made, which is you get close on legislation that's been long anticipated and long talked about, and yet somebody who's not there at the playing field or in the playing field or there at the table says, no, I don't like it. That's something that tends to irk the people that are at the table, and that's what's going on right now.
How do they get through it?
Bravery, because again, everybody's skittish about Trump's base, which is why you see the alignment that you see within both House and Senate members disproportionately going toward Trump. So there's this juxtaposition.
The question is, where is the bravery?
Legislation.
Where is the bravery? Right? Because here's some truth.
Well, good luck finding it.
I'm getting at. Because the truth is, policy decisions are made for political reasons all the time. Always, maybe. Just to be a little bit cynical. But not something like this. I mean, you have folks who say, honestly, it's like, we've been screaming from the rooftops about a border crisis for a long time. We're going to get so much of what we've been fighting for on the border very soon, and now we're going to spike this to make sure the other side doesn't get credit, even though we would also be getting credit. I mean, who's being played for a fool here?
Again, I haven't seen the base language of the text. I don't know what's in it and what's not in it. I just know the overall process, which is what you see right now playing out, wherein people spend a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of weeks, a lot of months working on some piece of legislation, and then inevitably some third-party group or some outside player says, no, I don't like it. That yields frustration. That much I know.
You paid a price losing your congressional seat in 2018 for standing up to Donald Trump. That is what clearly people are afraid, maybe not losing their seat, but that is what folks are afraid of in the Senate. Republicans.
No, I mean,
this isn't going to happen.
to your
Do
point,
you think the price is as high for people today?
No, I think it's dissipated. I mean, the four of us who spoke out early against Trump are all gone. So Corker and Flake in the Senate, me and Amash in the House, gone. He was at the apex of political power at that time. That's no longer the case. And you see a further weakening based on what we saw playing out in New Hampshire, where Nikki's nipping at his heels. You see that with the court situation that was just described in an earlier segment. I mean, so he's not where he was, but he's still awfully strong, and the base is there with him. And in Republican Party and Democratic Party politics, one of the rules of thumb is never go against your base, and that's why you see political figures reacting as they are.
Let's talk South Carolina politics now and presidential politics. Donald Trump has received, it's been described as like an avalanche of endorsements from electeds in South Carolina heading into the primary there.